Welcome to This Week in Taiwan. I'm Iris Xu. Every Saturday, we break down the biggest stories making headlines across the country. From politics and policy to culture and the unexpected. Whether you are tuning in from Taipei or halfway around the world, we've got you covered with what you need to know to stay in the loop. Taiwan is home to 23 million people, and you might think what happens on this small island doesn't affect you. But in reality, it is quite the contrary. From geopolitics to global supply chains, Taiwan is more connected to your life than you might expect. So let's get into this week's news and see just how interconnected we really are. On Monday, June 30th, Taiwan and the United Kingdom are strengthening trade ties with the signing of 3 new agreements in Taipei. Taiwan's representative to the UK, Vincent Yao, and Ruth Bradley-Jones from the UK Office of Trade Negotiations have signed the deals. Officially called the 3-pillar agreements of the UK-Taiwan Enhanced Trade Partnership, the agreements aim to boost cooperations in 3 key areas: investment, digital trade, and clean energy, including net zero initiatives. Also in Taipei for the 27th Annual Taiwan-UK Trade Dialogue, British Trade Minister Douglas Alexander said the agreements marked important progress. He noted that the UK sees major growth potential in clean energy, growth investment in key sectors like tech and advanced manufacturing, and promising results from a joint digital trade pilot project. President Lai Ching-te welcomed the partnership, saying he hopes the dialogue yields tangible outcomes. He also called on the UK to publicly support Taiwan's bid to join the CPTPP, one of the world's largest trade blocs. Lai emphasized that Taiwan and the UK are indispensable partners, especially amid global supply chain restructuring. He also thanked London for its long-standing support for regional peace, citing recent British reports that oppose any unilateral changes to the status quo in the Taiwan Strait. Wrapping up the ceremony, Minister Alexander reaffirmed the UK's firm stance on Taiwan's security and expressed optimism about deepening bilateral cooperation through innovation and shared commercial interests. Team Taiwan made a colorful and heartfelt appearance at this year's San Francisco Pride Parade over the weekend, carrying the message of Taiwan's inclusive spirit. The annual event themed Queer Joy is Resistance drew massive crowds, and Team Taiwan's expanded presence this year was met with enthusiastic applause. For the first time, the team featured a decorated truck playing upbeat Taiwanese tunes like Love Cha-Cha, leading a lively group of dancers and marchers. At the front flew Taiwan's national flag alongside the rainbow pride flag. Participants held signs highlighting Taiwan's progressive values, including being the first country in East Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. Roughly 200 members joined the parade this year. Among them was Yi Bai, who marched with her daughter. She said she wants her children to grow up aware of global issues and to learn how to fight for their rights. At the same time, she expressed pride in Taiwan's achievements in LGBTQ+ equality. Another participant said he hopes to share Taiwan's journey towards marriage equality with the American public and show how far the island has come. Team Taiwan's lead coordinator Alex Xu shared that the group's logo was inspired by pebbles on Taiwan's coast, each individually unique but coming together to form a beautiful island. She said the parade was a chance to amplify voices for equality and inclusion, especially at a time when visibility matters more than ever. And on Monday, President Lai Ching-te welcomed new generals in a promotion ceremony at the presidential office. In addition to congratulating the promoted generals, Lai emphasized that the new rank comes with a greater responsibility to meet the country's higher expectations. The president underscored that in light of the rapidly evolving global landscape and growing external threats, it is essential to accelerate defense reform, including not only the active replacement and modernization of core combat equipment, but also the strategic planning and procurement of various unmanned systems. I urge all newly promoted generals to act with flexibility and pragmatism, to integrate environmental conditions, and to thoroughly plan training, deployments, and tactics, make full use of emerging forces to build a credible combat capability that can effectively defend our national sovereignty and democratic freedom. Lai also expressed hope that the annual Hangguang and upcoming 2025 Urban Resilience or all-out defense mobilization exercise will serve as practical demonstrations of Taiwan's determination and defense capabilities. Taiwan's manufacturing sector fell into contraction territory in May as the latest manufacturing composite index from the Taiwan Institute of Economic Research switched from a yellow-blue signal indicating sluggish growth to a blue signal, signaling negative growth, the first such downgrade in 15 months. According to TIER Associate Research Fellow Xu Bishu, the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar played a significant role in weakening the country's export competitiveness. Although export orders measured in US dollars showed a year-on-year growth of 18.5% in May, nearly unchanged from April's 19.8%, the picture looks very different when converted to NT dollars. The year-on-year growth dropped to just 10.7% in May, down from 20.8% in April, a nearly 10 percentage point gap. The NT dollar rose sharply to 30.208 against the US dollar in May, marking its highest level since March 2023. This currency strength, paired with global headwinds, has exacerbated pressure on Taiwan's exporters. While manufacturing PMI indices in the Eurozone, China, and Japan improved in May, the US, Japan, and China remain in contraction territory, signaling persistent global weakness in the manufacturing sector. Looking ahead, TIER warns of elevated risks. Although Israel and Iran reached a ceasefire agreement in June, regional instability persists. Any resurgence of conflict could drive up global oil prices again. Meanwhile, uncertainty surrounding U.S. economic policy has weakened confidence in dollar-dominated assets, resulting in a softer U.S. dollar and stronger Asian currencies, including the NT dollar. TIER predicts that Taiwan's manufacturer will face mounting challenges in the second half of 2025. Premier Zhu Rongtai says the Taiwanese public cannot be bystanders and must actively participate in civil defense. When speaking at an opening ceremony for an air raid exhibition in Taipei on Wednesday, Zhu stressed the need for national unity and preparedness in the face of growing geopolitical risks. The exhibition, held at Ximen MRT Station, offers information on how to respond in the event of air raids and other emergencies. It is one of a series of activities to be held as part of what has been designated as National Solidarity Month. Zhou says the air defense drills are part of Taiwan's national defense strategy and that everyone has a role to play.
To be fully prepared, every citizen should know where to go in the event of a natural disaster or conflict. They should know where to seek shelter if they're at home and where to find protection if they're on the street. Everyone should play their role and take responsibility, but each citizen should also have a clear idea in mind that the government will protect them wherever they go.
Interior Minister Liu Shifang says that more than 154 people, including police, firefighters, and civilians, have joined emergency training programs with a goal of reaching more than 390,000 by the end of this year. She adds that Taiwan currently has over 82,000 air defense shelters across the country, which can accommodate more than 50 million people. Liu says the Interior Ministry has announced air defense shelter guidelines explaining shelter options to help people respond quickly and reduce panic and risks. The Foreign Ministry is facing further diplomatic challenges as the Solomon Islands prepares to host this year's Pacific Island Forum, or PIF. The oceanic nation cut formal ties with Taiwan in 2020 in favor of establishing diplomatic relations with China and has since grown closer to Beijing. The ministry's Department of East Asian and Pacific Affairs Director General Peter Sha Lilan says while the arrangement may be a challenge, the ministry will follow established protocols to secure Taiwan's participation in the PIF via the 30th Taiwan Republic of China Pacific Islands Forum Countries Dialogue events. Since 1993, Taiwan has engaged with the forum as a development partner under the name Taiwan Republic of China. A key component of that engagement is the Taiwan PIF Dialogue, which has been held 29 times alongside the forum's Leaders Summit. Last year's meeting held in Tonga was held by Taiwan's Deputy Foreign Minister and co-hosted by Marshall Islands President Hilda Hein and PIF Deputy Secretary General Desna Slova. In mid-June, Solomon Islands media reported that China has donated $1 million to help fund the summit, including purchasing official vehicles for attending heads of state. The Solomon Islands severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan in 2020 in favor of China and has since taken a more Beijing-aligned stance. Foreign Ministry's Peter Lam acknowledged the complexity of the situation and said that Taiwan will continue to work through diplomatic allies, like-minded partners, and the PIF Secretariat to coordinate its participation and ensure that the 30th Dialogue meeting is held as scheduled. On Thursday, July 3rd, Taiwan's Premier Zhou Rongtai firmly rejected opposition proposals to replace portions of the 410 billion NT dollar or $14.2 billion US special security budget with direct cash payments to citizens, calling such measures absolutely unacceptable as the legislature prepared to negotiate the Comprehensive Security Enhancement Bill. The premier argued that converting defense and infrastructure spending into individual cash distributions would undermine national security. The Special Act for Strengthening Economic, Social, and National Security Resilience addresses anticipated impacts from U.S. President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariff policy, with a grace period for tariff deferrals expiring on July 9th. Premier Zhou emphasized that the 410 billion NT dollar budget forms an integrated defense network covering industry support, employment stability, public welfare, and national security infrastructure. The comprehensive package includes 93 billion NT dollars or $3.2 billion US for industrial transformation and employment, 167 billion NT dollars or $5.8 billion US for public welfare including Taiwan power subsidies, and 150 billion NT dollars or $5.2 billion US for defense, coast guards, cybersecurity, counterterrorism, food reserves, and disaster prevention facilities across multiple industries. The Defense Ministry also plans to allocate 115.1 billion NT dollars or approximately $4 billion US for mobile command post satellite communications, radar integration, and strategic stockpiles. Opposition parties have proposed cutting 100 billion NT dollars or $3.31 billion US allocated to the bill, trying to redirect the funds for universal cash distribution instead. Thank you for listening to This Week in Taiwan. My name is Irish Shi. This episode is produced by Radio Taiwan International.